Have you ever felt like you're on a journey with no end in sight? Well, tonight I want to tell you a story about a train that embodies that very feeling. This is the story of the night train that never hurried. A ghost on the rails, a whisper in the dark. It was always the same. A lone passenger, lost and weary, would find themselves on a desolate platform just as midnight struck. The station clock would be frozen, its hands pointing to 12, and out of the inky blackness, a single, unwavering headlight would appear. No rumble, no screech of brakes, just a silent, gliding arrival. The train itself was a relic from another era. Polished mahogany brass fittings that gleamed under the dim platform lights, and windows that glowed with a warm, inviting amber hue. The sign on the carriage simply read, "The Nocturne Express." For those who boarded, the reasons were always different. A missed connection, a wrong turn, a desperate escape. But the moment they stepped inside, a sense of profound peace would wash over them. The carriage was beautiful, lined with plush velvet seats and small, elegant tables, each adorned with a single, ever-burning candle. The air smelled of old books, rain, and something sweet, like honeyed tea. The gentle rocking of the train was a lullaby, and the world outside the window was a blur of dark, indistinguishable shapes. Our story follows a young man named Leo. He was a musician, chasing a dream that always seemed just out of reach. One night, after a particularly crushing audition, he found himself wandering, his heart heavy with disappointment. He didn't know how he got to the station, but when the Nocturne Express slid silently into view, he felt an irresistible pull. He had nowhere else to go. So, aboard. Inside, he found a handful of other passengers. An elderly woman knitting a scarf that seemed to have no end. A man in a sharp suit, staring intently at a blank page in his notebook. A young girl sketching landscapes in a worn-out diary, her pencil never needing to be sharpened. They all looked up and offered Leo a small, knowing smile as he took a seat. No one spoke. The silence wasn't awkward. It was comfortable, companionable. Days turned into what felt like weeks, then months. The sun never rose outside the windows of the Nocturne Express. It was a world of perpetual, gentle night. The train glided on, never stopping, never slowing. Leo at first was anxious. He kept checking his watch, but the hands never moved. He'd ask the conductor, a kindly man with eyes that held the wisdom of ages, "When do we arrive?" The conductor would just smile and reply, "We are not in a hurry. The journey is the destination." Slowly, Leo began to let go. He stopped worrying about his failed audition, about the life he thought he wanted. He took out his old, battered guitar and began to play. The melodies that came out were not ones of ambition or desperation, but of peace, of reflection. The other passengers would listen, their quiet smiles deepening. The woman's knitting grew longer. The businessman started to fill his blank page with poetry, and the girl's sketchbook filled with fantastical worlds born from the endless night. Leo realized that the Nocturne Express wasn't a prison. It was a sanctuary. It was a place for lost souls to pause, to heal, to find what they had lost within themselves, not what they were chasing in the outside world. The train didn't travel from one point to another on a map. It traveled through time, through memory, through the forgotten corners of the heart. One night, as Leo was playing a particularly gentle tune, he looked out the window. For the first time, he saw something other than darkness. It was a faint glimmer, a hint of dawn on the horizon. The conductor appeared by his side. "It seems your journey is nearing its end," he sighed softly. Leo felt a pang of sadness. He had grown to love this endless night, this quiet company. "Where are we going?" he asked. The conductor pointed towards the slowly brightening sky. "Home," he said. "But not the one you left, a new one." As the first rays of sun pierced the gloom, the train began to slow, its first change in pace since Leo had boarded. He saw a station ahead, bathed in the soft light of morning. It looked familiar, yet different. He turned to say goodbye to the other passengers, but they were gone. The knitting lay on the seat, a finished scarf. The notebook was closed, its pages full. The sketchbook lay open to a beautiful drawing of a sunrise. Leo stepped off the train onto the platform. The air was fresh and cool. He looked back, but the Nocturne Express was already vanishing. fading into the morning mist as silently as it had arrived. He looked down at his guitar case. It felt lighter. He felt lighter. He didn't know where he was, exactly. But for the first time in a very long time, he wasn't worried. He was ready for the day. He started walking towards the town, a new melody already forming in his mind. The legend of the Nocturne Express lives on. They say it still runs, appearing for those who have lost their way, who need a moment of stillness in a world that never stops rushing. It's not a train you find on any schedule. It's a train that finds you, precisely when you need it most. It's the train that never hurries, because it knows that sometimes the most important destination is the peace you find along the way. Thanks for joining me on this journey tonight. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like and subscribe for more tailies from the edge of the map. Until next time, Trabel Safeli.